Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I wasn't expecting to speak to you so soon, to be honest, because if you remember I said in my last vlog, which was only Saturday, well firstly I said I might not get it up till Sunday, but I managed to get up on Saturday evening. But I said to you, unless anything major happens, that I probably wouldn't speak to you until like middle to end of the week. I'm going to try and do 1 or 2 vlogs a week and tell you everything, you know, catch up on the whole week. So something did happen. As you can see from the title, I saw a dead body. So Saturday afternoon, I had arranged a play date with my little puppy Watson and my friend Jenny and her puppy Lola, because they are best of friends. They're both about the same age. Lola's younger, she's a few months younger, but they've both got that same wanting to play all the time. And so it's a great way to wear them out. Kev was at golf. We both meet at the end of the street because there's a lovely big area that they can play in. Myself and Jen catch up. It's just perfect. So I had arranged to do that on Saturday. And like I said, we go to the end of the street and it's at the old lighthouse. Now I am on the shore and there are quite a lot of old lighthouses around here. But at the end of this street, you get to the end of the block of flats and then it doesn't look like much. But if you go past these sort of enclosed areas, it comes out onto this beautiful area with wooden benches and little hills. And then there's this old lighthouse, and I didn't even know this area existed before I got Watson, and the other dog walkers told me about it and said it's the perfect place to take them for a little walk. I mean, it's not massive you'd have to just walk round in circles if you wanted to get a really good walk from them, but for playing with other dogs it's perfect, and meeting other dog walkers, taking them for a business walk, that kind of thing, it's great. But it's very, very secluded. So I only ever go there when I am meeting another dog for a play date. I wouldn't, even in the day, I'm not so keen on going down there because a lot of us have noticed that there are some dodgy things going on down there. A lot of people, because I tell you, I'm jumping at everything now since this happened. Because it's so secluded, like groups of people go down there and drink. You know, they take the cans of drink down there. I mean, in the summer, it's completely crowded because everybody goes, takes a barbecue down there, has a picnic. It's beautiful looking out over the river or the sea. Kev says it's a river, I keep calling it a sea. But so I tend to not go down there unless I've got this play date arranged because, like I said, it's just a little bit too... We've seen things that look like they're drug deals. One of our group of dog walkers has actually been offered drugs once. So yeah, I don't tend to go down there. Even my husband Kev says he doesn't go down there. He doesn't particularly like it. It is just too secluded. You could do anything you wanted down there and not get seen. So anyway, we went down there to meet Lola and the dogs were playing happily together. There was another guy with us actually that we know who's got 2 little chihuahuas. He was there playing as well. And then he left and it was just myself and Jen and the 2 dogs. But then the guy that left had told us there was a dead fox just around the corner and to be careful because it didn't look like it had been attacked. So we didn't know whether it had been poisoned or why it had died, and it was just to be kind of careful. So Watson and Lola are playing and round the corner comes 2 French bulldogs and they start playing with him. And I said to the owners, who were this guy and his wife, who was clearly very pregnant, and I recognised her and I've now remembered where. I'm pretty sure she works in Harvey Nichols in Edinburgh and I think I've seen her in there. I must ask her if I ever see her again. I don't even know her name, I had never met her before, but anyway, I said to them, be careful, there's a dead fox around the corner, because it looked like they were heading that way, you know. Didn't think anything of it, went on to chat to Jenny, and then the woman, the pregnant woman, was down by the wall, by the lighthouse, and over, when you look over it, it's a big drop down into the water, and then there's sloping cobbles up from the water. And she was sort of doing this and going, come here, and I kept sort of looking behind me and thinking, who's she talking to? Because you wouldn't expect a stranger to be saying to you, come here, you know. And Jen was talking to me and I said, Jen, is she talking to me? I think she might be saying, come over. And Jen was like, no, she'll not be talking to you. Because like I said, you wouldn't expect a stranger to be shouting, come over. But then I was kind of like, you know, she's very pregnant. Where's her husband gone? Maybe she can't come towards us for some reason. Like, I better go and see what's going on. And I think she had decided to walk to us at that point, which made me think, yeah, she was definitely talking to us. So she said, there's a dead body over there. And when somebody says that, my instant thought was, no, there's not. Like, it's got to be something. It's not a dead body, because you just don't expect it to be true, do you? So I said, oh, I'm sure it's not a dead body, really? And she said, yeah, look. So we looked over the edge, or I looked over the edge, and I said, that looks like a dummy. And she said, yeah, that's what I've said. She said, but my husband is down there. And sure enough, I could see the husband standing by the dead body. And she said he'd been shouting up to her because he'd seen it, the woman had seen it. They both thought it was a dummy, but they said, well, we better check that it is a dummy, because if it isn't, we need to call the police. So he'd gone down there, and she said her husband was poking it with a stick. I think he said a stick, and flesh was coming off the fingers. So she said it's definitely a dead body. So Jen then looked over. She said the same thing, that it looks like a dummy. She said that doesn't look like a body at all. It looks like a dummy. And we all thought it was a dummy. There was a couple of other people that appeared and looked over and said it looks like a dummy. But like I said, this guy had gone down there, which there was just no way I was going to do. There's not a chance I wanted to be close to that body at all. But he called the police from his mobile. Jenny is saying she didn't have her phone, but I did have mine, so I was getting ready to call, but he called it in. And we were sort of standing there for a few minutes, and then I thought, you know what, let's not stand, like, there's no point me standing here, because I don't have any desire to continue looking at this. Now I know that it's most likely a dead body, although in my head I was still thinking, is it? Are they going to get here and go, no, that's a dummy? So because it's so secluded, like I said, the police, I thought they're never going to find it, because even if he told them it's the shore, it's by the lighthouse. There's another lighthouse just up the way. There's a whole big part of a shore between the two lighthouses, and then between another two lighthouses. So I said, I'll go up onto the pavement bit and see if I can see the van, you know, the police. So I went with Watson up towards where I thought the police would be, and I could see them in the distance. So we ran towards them, which was way past my flat. And I was thinking, God, I'm now miles away from home, you know. But anyway, I got hold of them and said, you know, if you're looking for the people with the body, that's us, and it's away down that end. I said, but it's not easy to find. Do you want me to show you? And so he said, get in the van, which I thought was quite funny, because Kev was kind of due back from golf at that point. And I thought, if Kev sees us in a van, me and Watson in a police van driving along the street, he's going to think I've done something. That's what I was thinking. He's going to be like, oh my God, what has she done, you know? The guy that took us to the van was like on his radio saying, we've got an informant. And I thought, well, I guess that's me, you know. And then when we got to the van, he said to the driver, informant. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely me there. At this point, all I wanted to do was go home, because it was bloody freezing on Saturday. Absolutely freezing. I think that's why I've got a cold. I've got a stinking cold today, and I'm sure that's why, because Jenny had a cold. Plus it was really, really cold, you know, and I didn't have gloves, my hands were frozen. Anyway, showed him to where it was, and this is what I find really kind of spooky. Like I said, everybody that had looked at the body, and by then there would have been about 6 people, I think, had looked over and gone, it's a dummy. And the policeman looked over and he went, it's a body. And so that is obviously what all bodies look like that have been in the water, because it was like that. He didn't even have to take a second look. He just looked to it, yeah, that's a body. So it looked kind of like a semi-deflated dummy. Now, we'd all stood there looking and having a conversation about, clearly it was a male. And obviously the husband that had been down right next to it knew a lot more details than us. We'd all said how small it looked, because we were worried that it was a child, because it looked like about a 10, 11, 12-year-old. But the guy had said, he said, no, he said, that's your perspective, because we were standing looking down at it. We weren't miles away. It was only, I don't know, I'm useless with distance, but it was like, can you see the length of my kitchen? It was like about twice that, whatever that distance is. But he said it's definitely an adult male. He said, because when you're standing next to it, you can see how big it is. But from where we were, it looked small. And he said, and also you can see its pubes from here, and you could see a very big willy. And actually I could see that from where I was standing. I couldn't really see the pubes. I couldn't really make that out, because there was black and white skin, which was confusing. But he said it's definitely an adult male. So that was somewhat of a relief, because like I said, we were all thinking it was a child. The other thing that I couldn't get out of my head and remembered vividly was the jeans. He was wearing jeans, they were blue jeans, and they were around his ankles, which I found very disturbing. The guy, the husband that had gone down to see the body, said that he thinks it was a black guy that had, is it called vitiligo? Or he said some of the water has taken some of his skin off. He wasn't sure which one it was. So I don't know, that was pretty freaky. It just looked like a grey body to me with black patches on it. So I'm really not sure. and it was kind of like I could see the hands. Thankfully I couldn't see the face because the head was lying like that, and I think he had something around his neck like a scarf or something, and there were no clothes on the top of him, so I don't know where his clothes on the top had gone, but not that I could remember anyway. And I could see the hands. I remember the hands, and they would just look like I said, like a semi-deflated dummy. I could see that he had trainers on, and I could see these jeans around his ankles. So, like when the guy confirmed that it was a body, when the policeman confirmed that it was a body, that for me was when I was like, oh, okay, because I just kept. I suppose it's a protective thing, isn't it? It's like I've told you guys before about something horrific that happened in my family that I'd replace with a better memory, and I think it's that protective thing. In my head it was like, it's just a dummy, the police are going to come out and go, it's just a dummy. He instantly went, no, that's the body, you know. So it was like, oh god, now that image in my head is definitely a body. That's not good, you know. I wish that wasn't there. Anyway, because I showed the policeman, and the policeman said we needed to take witness statements, because I thought, oh great, I can go home now, it's all done, you know. But he said, no, I need statements from you. And I said, well, I wasn't the one that found it, I was just the one that tell you, you know. But anyway, because you were literally standing there, because there was people walking with their dogs, and the police were stopping them going, are you just arriving now, or have you been here 5 minutes or whatever? And anybody that was there was a foreign couple there who didn't know a word he was saying. He had to get statements from, and he couldn't do it with me and Jenny together. We had to be separated. Which at first I was like, really? But then I thought, I suppose if there's been any foul play with this body, I don't know why. Anyway, we had to be split up. So Jenny took Watson and Lola, and then the policeman interviewed me, and then I took Watson and Lola and he interviewed Jenny, and he was really asking me such detailed questions to me. Exactly what way was he like what position was he in? And I said, well, he was on his back. And he went, right, well, which way was he facing? And I was like, well, he was kind of facing like I am to you. And he went, and where was his arm, and where was his leg, and how far away was he from the water? Because he was about yay far from the water. So I think he'd literally just been washed up, because Jenny was saying there was kids out there that morning and they would have seen it, and that I'm sure they would have. Well, I think the body had just been washed up literally that afternoon or evening, you know. Well, afternoon it was, I think. And so many details I had to give the policeman, on top of the fact that I had to tell him, you know, what my job was, what my age was, whether I was married or not, where I lived, where I was born, all of these things, my phone number and all of that. I understand that. But yeah, specific details, because I remember I said to him, and he went, how do you know it was the man? And I had to tell him, I said, the guy that went down, that touched his fingers, seemed to be obsessed with his pubes, with telling us that no, his pubes. And I don't think the guy was obsessed with it. I think it's just that every person that appeared was saying how small the body seemed, because it looked, like I said, like a child. And every time somebody said that, I think this guy went, no, it's not a child, because you can see its pubes if you look. And I think I could see it, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't really want to look too hard, if you know what I mean. Like I said, once I kind of knew it was a dead body, or it could be a dead body, I really didn't want to look at it too much at all. But I told the policeman that. I was kind of laughing, and I said, and you know, I could clearly see his anatomy. And then the policeman was asking me if I'd seen the guy go down and touch his fingers, because I guess the guy shouldn't really have done that, because he's sort of tampering, isn't he? But I didn't see him do that. It was his wife that told me that he'd done that, and that's how we knew it was a dead body and not a dummy, you know. So yeah, I was stood there for quite some time, and like I said, didn't have any gloves on. I was absolutely freezing. Funny enough, my phone went off, and it was Jenny's husband saying, is Jenny with you? Because I've just got home and there's police everywhere and Jenny's not here. And I was like, yes, she's with me. Like, to ask the policeman if I could text. I said, look, her husband's getting in touch because she's not got a mobile phone. Is it all right if I text and say she's all right? You know, we'll explain later, kind of thing. So yeah, it was all quite dramatic. But I said to the policeman that the thing that really bothered me and stuck in my mind was the fact that the trousers were around the ankles. He had blue jeans on, and again, the policeman was saying, did you have any clothing on? What colour was it? How do you know? What, all of this. And I said, he had blue jeans on, and they were around his ankles. And he said that the water could have done this. And so I said, that's what I'm going to keep in my head. I'm going to keep in my head that it was the water that did that, because a couple of other people mentioned it, or we all mentioned it, of course. But I can't remember who, but somebody said, oh, the water could have done that. And Jenny was like, no, the water would never have like pulled his jeans down, you know. But the policeman said that that could have happened. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to keep that in my head, that that is what happened, because I've got a feeling that we will never find out what happened. Not that it's a regular occurrence. Like I said, this is not a bad area at all. But you know, there'll be bodies, I'm sure, washed up. I don't know, like I said, I don't think it's a regular occurrence, but unless it is a murder or something, and unless a reporter gets hold of it, I don't know how it will get to the news. I don't know how that whole thing works. Like I said, I've always wondered that. How do things get on the news so quickly? Does somebody call them? Like if one of our group called them, maybe that would get there. But I've got a feeling we'll never find out what happened. And I do keep on putting in, into Google search, you know, man found, body found by the shore, that kind of thing. And nothing's coming up so far, but it was only Saturday, you know, so I don't know. I just don't know what could have happened. A couple of people said that he looked like he might have work clothes on, like he was on a boat. And so maybe, because there will be fishing boats around here with us being on the shore. You know, I hope it wasn't foul play. That's all I can say. I hope it isn't something awful. But that would be no reflection on where we live or anything like that. But as Kev says, it's just one more reason not to go down the end to the lighthouse. You know, it's just another reason to make sure we don't go down there, because not that it could have happened down there, because like I said, I don't think anything happened there. It was just a very small little square of water where this body ended up. And with the weather, and it's been so windy, I think that it was the tide brought the body there. I don't think anything actually happened down there. So, you know, it's just like Kev says, it's just another reason not to go down there, because it's very, very secluded, and it just reminds you that horrible things can happen, you know, and that it's not sensible to go somewhere really secluded. Anyway, so I gave my statement. That was it. I heard one more thing from the policeman later. He phoned and asked me for Jen's number, and that was it. Haven't heard anything else, and hopefully won't. Like I said, I'd really like to know what happened, but there's part of me thinks if I find out what the story was, that might upset me, you know what I mean, because I've been kind of shaken by it. I didn't feel any kind of way on Saturday, other than when I arrived back in the house and Kev wasn't home. I was kind of jumpy at noises, and I'm still a bit jumpy, and I was jumpy yesterday, and I felt quite panicky yesterday. But I've been feeling a little bit panicky over the last couple of weeks anyway. I'm a totally anxious person, you know, I'm a bag of nerves most of the time. So that could have been the case anyway. I don't know whether it's that did it. I can't get the image out of my head. I wish I could get that image out of my head, because I suppose part of me was hoping all of me was hoping it was a dummy. And when I could see it in my head, I was like, it's okay, it's a dummy. But now I know it isn't a dummy. It's like, God, that's awful. And I've always been scared of water and drowning and all that kind of thing. So I do find that quite haunting, you know. And like I said, if I find out the actual story, you know, get a name and a family and the situation, I don't think that would make me feel any better. But I am very curious, and I will keep on checking to find out if there's any news on it, you know. And also, this is quite a small community, because Jen put it on social media when she got home, and then a couple of people, because she put my name in it, a couple of my friends saw it and texted me and said, are you okay? And then one of the neighbours in another block put me a message on Facebook and said, there's police everywhere, I saw you out with Watson, do you know what's going on? You know, it's quite a small community in that respect. So I think if anybody hears anything, they will tell me. And if I find anything out, I will tell you for sure in my vlogs. I'll update you. Like I said, just today, I was surprised that people were asking me, that my friends were like, oh my God, I heard what happened, are you okay? And I thought, well, am I okay? And Kev was laughing at me because he said, God, you're even judging yourself for how you're reacting to it. Because I was saying to him, I felt fine on the Saturday, and I was like, oh, should I feel freaked out? Because I feel okay apart from feeling a bit edgy, and apart from not being able to get the image out of my head. But on the Sunday, yesterday morning, I did feel panicky, and I said to him, I can't stop thinking about it, but I'm not upset or anything. It's just I want to get that image out of my head. And I was telling Kev that I've been watching that Body Donors on TV. It's on in the UK at the moment. I think it's on BBC, I'm not sure, but it's called Body Donors, and it's about people with a terminal illness that are giving their body to science. And I said, I've seen bodies in that, and I know they've been embalmed and that, so it's a bit different. But besides that, I said, you're still seeing bodies, and it comes up on the screen, you know, that you might be affected by it. And that's closer in a way in distance, because it's on a TV. and it's real life. It's not like it was a movie of a dead body, because you see that in movies and on TV. So why should it be any different that I've seen it in real life, if you know what I mean? But I suppose, because like I said, this body donors was real people, but I suppose because this one is unexplained and unexpected, and I didn't know, and it was fresh, it wasn't like embalmed and all knitted up and everything, maybe that's why it was different, you know. But yeah, I think I'm all right. Like I said, I'm not really affected by it, other than I feel a little bit on edge, but what's new? That's not new for me, really. We had a lovely day yesterday. I think that's all there is to tell you really about this body. Like I said, if I find anything else out, I will tell you. Yeah, I had a lovely day yesterday. Met my friend's dog Dexy, and he is just adorable. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's a chocolate lab. He's just beautiful. And then in the afternoon we had another play date with Watson's friend Dixie, and the day just disappeared. Absolutely just flew past, you know. Today Kev has taken Watson to daycare, then he's going to the range, then he's got a interview this afternoon. He's got 20 jobs out there that he's applied for. For those of you that don't know, Kev, my husband, has lost his job a few months after I've lost my job, so it's been a bit of a tough year for us so far. Hopefully 2016 is going to be better. But he's got 20 jobs out there, so that's good. So I said he can go to the range and, you know, chill out a little bit. He's doing a lot of the dog walking as well, so it's not like he's sitting around doing nothing, that's for sure. Tomorrow I'm getting my eyebrows done. I'm getting my eyebrows semi-permanently tattooed. So I am doing a diary on it, I am doing a whole video, and I will be covering every aspect that I can think of. And even though you won't see that for probably another month at least, I say at least because I've got Ehlers-Danlos, I heal less quickly than most people. So she did say I might need an extra 2 weeks before having my checkup, so it might be 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks, where they check the colours and whatnot. And so there's no point me doing the video until it's all healed and I've had my checkup, had any tweaks to the colour, that kind of thing. But I am doing a video completely talking through it, and I will be videoing bits, like when I come back I'll do a video, the following day I'll do a video, a week later I'll do a video, that kind of thing, you know. A few of you have asked for a video on it, and definitely doing that. A couple of you have said about the fact that it's semi-permanent and wondering what that's about. I'll talk more about that in the video, but there is no such thing as permanent brows. No, there is such a thing. You could go to a tattoo artist and ask them to tattoo on your brows. I don't recommend doing that. But brows are semi-permanent because it doesn't go as deep as a normal tattoo. And so because the colour is softer, and you need to have it topped up once a year, so it isn't permanent, it is semi-permanent. That is just the way that it works. So I hope me having a cold doesn't change anything tomorrow. What I did today though, I don't know whether you can tell or not, but I normally have my brows quite thick, and I think they've got thicker as I've been getting a little bit more used to how to do my brows. But then when I've done the first instalment of my video, which was me showing what my brows are like before, so I took my makeup off on camera and then redid my brows. But I did them so quickly because I just wanted to, I wasn't going anywhere, I just wanted to quickly redraw them. And I did them thin, kind of like they are today, they're fairly thin, and I prefer that. And so I thought I'm gonna go for thinner, and I'm glad I did that. And I'm going to have them done thin because I can always make them thicker with products, you know what I mean, as opposed to starting off with thick brows and then there's nothing I can do. So I'm gonna go for thin. And it's really just these bits in the middle that I'm particularly worried about and that I particularly want filled in. So I'm really excited about it, really excited. I fully trust this woman, you know. I've done as much research as I can. A couple of you have recommended watching Dominic Sash's video. I do watch Dominic now and then. I did see that video and I really must watch it. It's just I don't have an awful lot of time to watch YouTube videos myself, and there's nothing really, like I always knew I was going to do the procedure. I kind of knew about it. I've had tattoos myself, so I know what the feeling's like. I don't think there's anything I need to know that will change my mind as to whether I'm going or not, you know. There may be stuff that I find out that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, maybe I'm not so keen, you know. I'd rather kind of be a bit blind, and like there's so many videos I've got in my watch later list, I just don't really have a chance to watch any. Anyway, that's all that's happening really this week. Like I said, you maybe won't see me immediately. If you want to see what my brows look like immediately after, I'm going to try and remember to put a picture on Instagram, and I will most likely snap it. So on Snapchat, I will probably say, that's me, have my brows done, and I'm on the train, or, you know, whatever, because I'll be getting a train over. But then you will eventually see the video with the whole story on it. So I think that's everything to catch up on just now. Like I said, I'll do another vlog maybe the end of the week, depending on what's gone on. Yeah, probably like Friday, something like that, Thursday or Friday, and tell you how the week's been. And I will briefly tell you how the whole brow thing went, because I'll probably look weird anyway. So I hope that you guys had a lovely weekend. I hope that you're having a lovely week, and I'll speak to you again soon.